Let's get into our big focus of the day. A night before the much-awaited inauguration day, U.S. President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris took part in an evening ceremony at the reflecting pool near the Lincoln Memorial to honor the 400,000 American lives lost to COVID-19. Let's listen in to what the President-elect Joe Biden said.
To heal, we must remember. It's hard sometimes to remember. But that's how we heal. It's important to do that as a nation. That's why we're here today. Between sundown and dusk, let us shine the lights in the darkness along the sacred pool of reflection and remember all whom we lost.
And just hours before she would be sworn in as the Vice President, Kamala Harris stressed on the need to be united and called on Americans to stand together while delivering the brief remarks. She also introduced Lori Key, a Detroit nurse who has served COVID-19 patients, who sang the hymn Amazing Grace at the ceremony.
And for many months, we have grieved by ourselves. Tonight, we grieve and begin healing together. Though we may be physically separated, we, the American people, are united in spirit. And my abiding hope, my abiding prayer, is that we emerge from this ordeal with a new wisdom.
Biden thanked the country's medics and also echoed the call for unity along with Kamala Harris. The event was the first such memorial ceremony from the federal government, acknowledging the staggering death toll due to COVID-19. The President-elect Joe Biden's appearance at the Lincoln Memorial came a day before he is set to be inaugurated at the U.S. Capitol. The inaugural ceremony organizers on Monday finished installing some 200,000 U.S. state and territorial flags on the National Mall. A display to represent the American people who couldn't come to the inauguration, which is restricted under the tight security and COVID-19 restrictions. It is also a reminder of all the challenges that the President-elect faces as he looks to steer the nation through the pandemic with infections and the number of deaths due to COVID-19 soaring. Now for more details, we are being joined by WION's correspondent Jagriti Dave live from Washington, D.C. Welcome, Jagriti. Now let's start by talking about the preparations underway for this unique inaugural ceremony. Give us a sense of the mood in the nation a day before, well, a couple of hours before a new president is to be sworn in.
Yeah, I think the mood is very different, to what you would normally expect at previous inaugurations. You would have people crowding, flocking to Washington, D.C. to be part of this historic moment, witnessing a transition of power from one president to another. But this time round, of course, because of the pandemic, but also because of the fears of further unrest in the Capitol following those violent riots in the U.S. Capitol building on January the 6th. Washington, D.C. is virtually deserted by comparison. You've got, huge security measures, which we've talked about, roads being blocked off. The Capitol grounds are, there's a perimeter around them, so they are off limits. But I think the mood is definitely one of anticipation to see what happens next, to be able to witness this moment as we move to a new administration. I think despite all the concerns around COVID and security, I think there's always a sense of anticipation and excitement when it comes to the inauguration of a new president.
Right, absolutely. Now let's shift focus to Biden's expected inaugural address. What is going to be the key message in his address? We know he recently paid a tribute to the COVID-19 victims in the country. So what will be some of the key policies that he's likely to reverse from the previous administration?
In his inauguration address, I think the real key message that he is going to be outlining is one of unity. It's what his advisors have said. It's what his team has said is the key message that he wants to promote, because he is going to be president of a country that is deeply, deeply divided. We saw that in the election results. We've seen that in the aftermath of the election, and we were probably seeing that way before the election as well. And that is going to be Joe Biden's huge challenge. And in his speech, he is very much going to be talking about getting Americans to come together. Now, obviously, in his first moments as president, when the Senate comes together to put through his agenda, they're also going to be coming together likely to discuss a possible Senate trial for the previous president, Donald Trump, which many Republicans are saying will actually further divide Americans. It goes against that message of unity that Joe Biden is seeking to promote. But a lot of the measures that Joe Biden's team has talked about, returning the US to the Paris Climate Agreement, for example, many of those are really reversing some crucial Trump-era policies. But of course, we might see a continuity of some Trump-era policies, such as the positioning towards China.
Right. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.